listen, in my personal life, I don't have debt. In my business, I use debt as a tool to help get me, where I want to go. I'm building a house right now, a spec house. All right. I'm using debt in order to keep that thing going. And then it's all going to get paid back right away, by the proceeds of the sale. Those people that just live on debt, there was, Chris, I'm not so proud to admit that I remember when I was like right out of college, they gave me a $500 credit card. I thought I got a raise of $500. Okay. And that's exactly how they want you to think.
Exactly.
So, but did I learn the hard way that way. So give me a couple of examples of what you mean.
Yeah. That's a great example right there. Debt is a huge one. That is actually one of those 7 points, right? Because you're right. As a steward, you want to use debt wisely, right? Where if you're a spender, you're going to blow it. You don't want to do that, right? And even as a saver, if you're just in that scarcity mentality as a saver where you can never pay off your debt fast enough, you can never save up enough money, you never become financially free as a saver, by the way, just mentally speaking, you don't. But as a steward, you're like, well, how can I leverage the most use? And you mentioned business finances, right? I completely agree. Business finances and personal finances should be the same way because if it works in business, why wouldn't it work in your personal life? Like if it's a real true principle, they should work in every aspect, right? And so, yeah, when you're using debt, you got to be a wise steward of it. You got to be able to use it in a way that creates more income or more revenue or profit, especially than what it's costing you, right? Like you got to have profit from it. Your financial life personally should be the exact same way. You should have profit. I call that cash flow, right? Yeah. What's the difference between that income and expenses? Like how big can you make it? Not just by living cheap. That's not the key, right? You can only cut expenses back so far before you live in a cardboard box. Yeah. You got to figure out how do you get that income up? And so if you leverage debt, like just yesterday, I was talking to a guy that he's saying, hey, what do you see my situation? What can I do? And the guy had done a great job. He paid off his house, just like Dave Ramsey would say. He was debt free, but he wasn't financially free because debt free and financial freedom don't equate. Because I get them all the time. I get the Dave Ramsey poster children that come to me and say, great, so I'm debt free. So what? I don't have freedom. I have to keep working my tail off for the rest of my life unless something changes. So I said, hey, you can have a home equity line of credit. And he had it was like in Michigan. So a small mortgage or a small value of a home. I said, man, if you only cashed out $125,000, that payment will be less than $400. It'll be about $400 a month. But if that $125,000, even if you only made 1% a month on that, right? That's about $1,200 a month. That's an $800 a month profit to you. That's an infinite rate of return on your money because that's not your own money you're using. You're just leveraging the bank's money to go use in your favor. Now, if he was gambling that, so he's going to try to buy a property in like, say, California or Oregon, where people can squat in your place and not pay you rent, right? You go to those places, that could be a gamble.